Welcome to Living Ultra with Harvey and Kelly. I'm Kelly.
And I'm Harvey.
And today we're going to talk about Badwater 135. So it was a little unique, a little different Badwater experience this year than most, right?
Every year is a little unique, honey.
Every year is a little unique, it is.
This year was pretty unprecedented that at the start of the 8 o'clock wave, we actually had rainfall, which I've never seen that sort of thing, like significant rainfall. It dissipated after less than probably 30 minutes, but it left like humidity in the air, which was really interesting.
And the sky was beautiful. I wasn't there this year. This is maybe the third time I've not went out, but I saw pictures of the sky during, I don't know if it was your start or an earlier start, and the sky was amazing.
A little earlier start. Our start was at 10. So there's at 8, 9, and at 10 p.m. So you have the elite runners partying at 10 o'clock. And it was pink and purple hues. I mean, absolutely gorgeous.
It was amazing. Okay, so let's go. What was your mindset going into Badwater 135 this year?
So I had just run Western States 100 the last weekend of June, and it gave me about 3 weeks between Western States and Badwater. And honestly, I felt pretty well. Like finishing Western States, I was top 25 male and 40th overall, and I kind of felt like that the climbing and descents of Western States would actually strengthen my Badwater experience, just because there's not as much climbing in Badwater, but you got 16,000 feet of climbing, so that would seem rather easy after maybe Western States climbing, that is.
Mm-hmm.
And so
back to the mindset.
Yeah, so going into Badwater, I was honestly in the mindset that I could do really well there and finish in the podium. So I approached the race not like overly aggressively in the start, but positioning myself well to be in the fight for the podium. I honestly felt like I didn't run my strongest race for sure. In terms of execution, I could have done some things a little better. And then also in terms of my mindset, I normally feel like I do have a strong mindset for Badwater. It's one of the races that brings that out in me. And I felt like with that race, I did not keep a strong mindset throughout the whole race.
Yeah. Why? What do you think happened?
Well, I honestly, one of the things that kind of tripped me up a bit was in mile 72 and also mile 90, the aid stations we were going through. Typically, I like to understand where I am position wise and what time the other runners have come through. Mm-hmm. And I had no idea. I mean, I had a rough idea position wise where we were, but it was not entirely clear because there are runners are from the 10 o'clock wave, and there just happened to be a couple from the 9 o'clock wave in there. But also, for whatever reason this year, my team wasn't able to get the recorded time that the previous runners came through at. And so it's something that shouldn't be at all impacting someone's mind. There are some races where you're in the wilderness and that's not going to be a thing. Right. You're not going to have access to that. But with Badwater, I do like to know, okay, the next runner is 22 minutes ahead. It gives you something to work towards. And for whatever reason, I kind of let that be one of the things that I got into my mind and just didn't motivate me to go into that deeper layer of discomfort to fight for added places. So every race is special, whether you are the first runner or the last runner. Every one of the Badwater races is special. And so this year I had a really amazing team. My crew chief, Judd, I love spending time with him. Had Antonio, who came all the way from Italy.
Yeah, that was
who
great.
I met in Big's backyard. Phenomenal. I have my buddy Isaac Barnes, who is lives in the nearby towns where we are here in Circleville. And then I had Andy Rogers, who came from Michigan. And so those guys did a phenomenal job. And like, that is one of the things I remember the race about. So, I mean, I know I make a big push to like be competitive and finish in the podium, but ultimately, when it's all said and done, 20 years from now, what will mean the most are those experiences I have with my team.
Yeah.
And that's what was really special.
Yeah. Yeah. You had a really great team.
Very much so.
So, what was your fuel? How did you fuel during the race? And let's talk about some of your gear.
Yeah, so I fueled with Tailwind was my primary fuel, liquid fuel that is, and I would also drink other drinks because I get sort of tired of like drinking the same thing, so I like to mix it up. So in the evening where the race started, I would have water, and I would like use that water kind of spraying myself, but I also had like Coca-Cola. I had acai juice. I really love that. I had coconut water, and I really love the naked coconut water. It's like got this pink hue to it, and it's it really goes down smoothly to me. And I had I had like some other snacks like watermelon, cookies like that are vegan, just happen to be vegan. They're Oreo cookies. Fig Newtons, I had a little bit of that, and like I think I may have had like some soup at one point. Going back, we'll talk about that in a minute. I had some different things.
Okay.
And it shifted.
And gear. So let's talk about your gear.
So gear, I had 2XU, and I had these nice new compression shorts that 2XU had designed with District Vision, and I love the compression shorts in the desert. I also like that these are lighter than the black ones. There's pockets in here which I love to like throw things into. And with the compression shorts, I really feel that I've been wearing 2XU compression shorts for 13 years since I've been doing this race. And they really help a lot in terms of like when you're descending, like the big descents from the first Mountain Towns Pass, going down into Panamint Valley, and then also climbing up to Father Crowley, and then descending down into the valley where you're gonna find like Owens Valley and ultimately get to Lone Pine. But I love these, and these shirts were really comfortable that 2XU had produced.
And you had a long sleeve shirt too, didn't you?
Okay. Yeah. I honestly didn't wear that during the race because I had arm sleeves from 2XU and a Sahara hat, but I liked that beforehand.
Okay. All right. So looking back, is there anything that you wish you would have done differently, or maybe not wish, but you could have done differently?
No, I don't wish I could have done it differently, because honestly, had the race transpired where I had a stronger race and finished in like the top 3 or 5, I would not have gone back into the start line. But I had like at about 2 miles before Lone Pine, I had like really been struggling for like 4 or 5 hours, just not only mentally but also like physically not fully. I was a bit depleted. So in Badwater, you can stake out, where you put your stake in the ground you can leave the course and go take a sleep and then come back. And that's what we did. I took like 5 hours of sleep, and I came back the next morning and started the race again.
And in 13 years of running Badwater, this
twice.
is the second time,
right?
I did that you've ever
one other
staked
time
out.
in 2015. And honestly, I feel like, I wasn't in the point where I was going to DNF per se, but my crew was worn out. Like, I was moving slowly, getting back in the car. They had to get out in the heat. So we reset, and I was running. Really, I felt like a new body. I ran through Lone Pine, and I ran up the mountain. We went through the trail section, and I was going through the Alabama hills, and somewhere around there, it kind of hit me like, I'm just gonna turn around at the finish of the portal.
We're not there yet.
Honey, this fits into it.
this fits into
We're
the
gonna have a
question.
lot of outtakes. Yeah.
This fits into
Yeah.
the question that I asked.
It sure does.
Okay, all right.
Yeah.
Keep it rolling then. This is
So how's
this is
it-
why I
how's it
said we
different?
should not do questions this one. I said
Okay, go,
stop
there
it.
we
No,
go. Come on.
this is why I said
There we go. There we go.
this is why
I get it.
stop. This is
Calm
why I said you should just tell the story.
Honey, well, let me tell the story and then you can go to the next one. Okay. So I was going up the mountain and I got this inspiration to go to the finish line at the portal and just turn around and go back to the start. Now, traditionally, people have gone up, not a lot of people, but a couple dozen people, including Lisa Batch and Smith, have gone all the way to the summit of Whitney, which I did that in 2021 or 2020 when I got the FKT from Badwater to the 146. But they've done a double where they've gone all the way to the summit and then come down and gone all the way back to the start. This is a shorter version of that, where I went to the end of the 135 at the portal. I did not go up to the summit. It's really difficult now to get a permit, especially on the whim. But this was totally on the whim. I didn't even know if it would happen. I went up there and I immediately after we finished, I said to my crew chief Judd, I said, what do you think about us turning around now and going back to the start? And this would never have happened if it weren't for the fact that I've got my buddy Judd is just as crazy as I am with adventures. He's like, well, we're already going that way anyways, so I guess so. And so he hopped aboard. And I knew my other friend Isaac would probably be game because he just loves jumping in any running adventures. So I honestly, we just turned around, took some pictures, got my belt, and then turned around and started jogging back down the mountain. And at that point, I was just, people asked, I said, oh yeah, I'm just running back down the Lone Pine because I didn't want to make any big deal about it. And I also didn't know if we could do it, if anyone else on the team would be open to doing it. So we got down to Lone Pine, had some Italian food. I told the rest of the team, and Isaac's like, okay, I'm in too. So we end up headed back towards the start.
Okay. So back to my original question, because I don't think you answered it.
That's great, honey. Okay, go for it.
What was the question?
You tell me.
You tell me.
You tell me. What was different this year than previous Badwaters?
No, honey, that's not. We're done with that question.
Okay, you tell me, what is it?
In hindsight, is there anything, looking
Yeah.
back, is there anything that you would have done differently?
That's what I was getting to. So.
You're
No. Hold on a second.
You forgot
Calm
the
down.
question.
Calm down. No, I didn't. So that I would not do anything differently because I would not have turned around at the finish and gone back to the start if I finished in the top three. So the fact that I underperformed with what I knew I could have done, and I was a little disappointed in myself for not going harder. Then when I was going up to the mountain and I felt like this rekindled energy, I had this switch with my brain and my body, where my brain was able to tell my body that we're gonna do whatever it takes. And so I went to then I decided I was gonna go all the way back to the start. And so I don't regret anything that happened. I'm happy with the way it transpired. Because had I finished earlier and faster and a higher place,
then you wouldn't have.
I may not have went back, and I don't know if I'll ever do that again in my lifetime.
Well,
and it
when
was
you
a really special experience.
You called me and was like, so I have this idea, and you must have been coming down the mountain.
Yeah,
when you
I was
called
coming
me.
out. I'd already started.
Yeah, and you're like, I have this idea, and you can tell me no if you think it's not a good idea.
Yeah, I told you this at the little trail section, 8 miles.
You're like, I'm thinking about running back to the start. And I was like, yes, that sounds like a great idea because
Well, that's good. I'm very supportive.
Because I don't want to crew that if I'm out there 1 year and you're like, let's go back to the start.
There you go. That's
so
good.
I was like, yes, that sounds like a great idea. But it was good. It was good. Okay. So what spurred your decision to run back to the start. Like what? I mean, did you just answer that?
Yeah, I did.
Okay. Well, I hadn't
really?
even asked that question.
You didn't ask that question.
Nope.
All right, there we go.
Okay.
I was inspired by the mountain, and also I had this switch in my mind, like where it was before, like I was my body was wrestling with my mind, and at that moment my mind had like gained full control and said, look, we're gonna go do this thing, and it doesn't matter how crazy or difficult or how much discomfort you experience, we're gonna do this, period.
Yeah. So your mind and body were wrestling with each other.
Wrestling.
If they were animals, what animals would they have been? Was it like an armadillo wrestling with a bear, or was it like a?
Well, they kind of morph into different levels of strength, so I can't really say that.
Okay. Okay. So running the course backwards, what was that like? Because that's for 13 years you have ran this course from the basin to the portal, and you have seen that view.
Yeah. Well, there are a couple things like to have Badwater, like to finish Badwater today, you have to do it in 48 hours. So my goal was to go there and back in like 4 days. It was really, really interesting coming down the mountain into Panamint. Like that's a beautiful scenery. And also going up the mountain is very steep from Panamint to Towns Pass. Like that, typically we do the other rivers.
Right.
So that was really interesting. And then coming down from Towns Pass, unfortunately the Chico fires, we had no idea about this, but the smoke was just prolific. So as soon as we came up over the notch at 5,000 feet about, Towns Pass, we came down a mile or two, it was just like really dense smoke. And fortunately, my friend who had jumped in the crew, Alan, he had N95 masks, and we put those on, and that was like a lifesaver. So I absolutely had to run with an N95 mask for like 42 of the last 58 miles.
Wow.
Which is really challenging because it elevates the heat level, like it feels like it's 7 or 8 degrees warmer than it even is.
And do you feel like the mask made a difference?
Oh, it definitely. Like, I don't think I could have continued because even with like a buff, the smoke was like causing me to cough, and it just was like really bad for your breathing.
Yeah.
I mean, it was really awful. So, but yeah, that was. But then also, we got to Furnace Creek at the highest part of the day, so it was like 2:30. And it was like the temperature was around 120. So going from Furnace Creek, the 17 miles to the Badwater Basin was really, really challenging because I had already depleted myself across like 250 some miles. So like after 250 some miles, your body doesn't react as well to like hot and cold. It takes a little bit more energy to recalibrate the body temperature. So it was that felt the hottest I've ever experienced anything like running wise, and the pavement was 5 degrees warmer. It was just blowing directly into us at the time too. So like they always stayed within a half a mile in terms of the crew vehicle from me and had like a visual on me.
Yeah.
And I drink a lot of grape soda.
Grape soda.
Yeah.
Okay. So
grape soda, honey. That's
you make it back to the basin.
Yeah.
And then you had a flight to catch. So everything happened pretty fast. But let me go back into June really quick. So you had Western States. That was after you finished Western States, you had 3 weeks until Badwater. So you ran Badwater, and then running Badwater wasn't enough. You decided you're going to run back to the start of Badwater. So you run back to the start to Badwater. So you get to the basin, and then you have how many weeks until Bigfoot 200?
Then I had 14 days.
14 days.
Yeah. So when I made that choice on the mountain, going up and like decided I was going to talk to my team about doing this, I wasn't really thinking about Bigfoot 200. So that wasn't something that entered my mind at all.
I mean, it's not
Until
like
after
you
I
had
finished.
it's not like you had a 5K.
Until after I finished. Well,
You
then
had a
we did do
200
the 5K. Though. we did do that 5K. So
That's a bit. I mean, 200 miles is a big.
yeah, it's a bit
endeavor.
of a good endeavor.
And you didn't think that you.
Well, I wasn't just thinking about it, but then at the finish of that, then I immediately started doing everything I could, from taking Epsom salt baths to like the food I chose to eat, vegan foods, to elevating my legs, all the things I could do to like move my body back into preparation for that race. And then the wild thing was that I wasn't anticipating was a week after that, we actually went and did the 5K race in Circleville, the dog days. And while it wasn't like my fastest time, like, I mean, I normally now I could probably run like a 17:40 there or something. I ran at 18:22. So like that showed me at that moment that my body had really recovered a lot in just one week. And I still have one more week to recover for Bigfoot.
So what's your secret?
It's a whole variety of things, honey.
So we need to talk about Bigfoot 200, right?
Yes, yeah.
Yes, but we're not going to do that right now.
That's next.
That's next.
Oh, yeah.
All right.
All right, there we go. Until that.
Yes. Thanks for joining us.
You signing off?
Unless you have something else to say.
No, I was just asking. You signing off?
I mean.
Good.
What do you mean good?
I didn't mean
not
that.
nice.
No, I didn't mean like that as like in a harsh sort of way, honey. I just said like, okay, good, we're signing off, because then there's time for treats and stuff.
All right.
Yeah.
Thanks for joining us.
Thanks for joining us. Like, how this will all like be edited together is a big giant mystery to me.
You can tell
But
we
we'll
haven't
see.
recorded anything for a while.
Oh, you think you want to put that in there?
No, I can cut
I don't
that
think
out.
so. I don't think so.
Okay. Thanks for joining us, and
we look forward to our next episode, which will be on the Bigfoot 200,
yeah.
which was a wild adventure
Yeah.
in Washington.
So any questions that you have about Bigfoot 200, or comments or questions about Badwater, you can leave them down there, and we'll respond back to them.
Thanks for watching.
Thanks.
There you go, honey. You gotta get it.
Stop,
you get
don't.
yourself all those
Because
feisty.
you
There
take
you
too
go.
long. Okay, so I'm Kelly. This is Harvey, and
That's Carly.
that's Carly.
Let's go.
Okay, she's going.
That's okay.
No, it's not okay, because I think she's gonna bark the whole time because
Honey,
these kids are
it's
right.
fine. Carly, come on. Come on. You want a treat? You want some of those sweet potatoes? 5.
Badwater 135. So,
Yeah.
let's go. This was number what?
Oh, aren't you supposed to say that, honey? Aren't you introducing it? You introduce it, and then I'll like, and then ask me the question. I'll
Okay,
answer.
okay.
Like that's embedded in a question.
Okay.
There you go. It's good to have a couple outtakes, you know.
Yeah. Okay. So we are going to talk
Do
today.
you want to start again?
Oh, okay. Sure.
And also, we had just gone to Portugal with Run Quest Travel, and so we had a great 15K, and you thought it was going to be a 5K walk, but it ended up being a 10K walk.
No.
Is that why you're laughing?
You thought, no, that's not why I'm laughing.
Oh,
I'm
yeah.
laughing because I'm like, you haven't answered the question yet. And,
I'm getting there, honey. Calm down.
I know,
I'm
but,
getting there.
yeah, no,
I said it.
about the 5K in Portugal, you thought it was a 5K because you were like, hey, Kelly, you can do this 5K hike if you don't want to do the 15K run.
It all worked out, didn't it?
And I'm like, sure, I'll do a 5K hike. And it was what? It was
11K.
Yeah,
But
11K.
Yeah, it was good. By the time I got to the end of the race, I was actually kind of disappointed with myself, and like I had gotten my mind into the right
Well,
spirit.
we'll get to the end of the race.
Well, you were asking about, honey.
I know, we're not there yet. We'll get to the end of the race.
But that's what you were following up with.
No,